top of my fucking
for coming to Peace Earthlings. I've been away for a little bit. And, well, theater. Let's get started with that, I suppose. And I believe theater is a very sacred space. And I've been doing comedy for a while. And I notice quite often when comedians make jokes, it's often at the expense of others and marginalized people. And I don't like that very much. So I feel the stage can be used to punch upwards at the oppressive forces, the people who kind of try to brainwash us into fighting each other, because we're all on the same side, really. So that's what I like to do here. So I'm going to start off with a little call and response. So if you can participate, that would be lovely. Let's see. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Olive.
Olive who?
All of it when people realize that we live in a police state and try to dismantle it. Okay. What is cold, gray, and does more harm than good?
What?
Prisons! I think they should be abolished, personally. Over half of the assaults that occur in prisons are done by the guards. So when you think about the term penitentiary, it comes from penance, this idea that somehow you're supposed to go there and get better. However, I don't think people can really get better if you're being abused. It's truthful. I've never met anyone who's been to prison who said, oh, that was really fun, you know, when I was denied access to my friends and my family and denied my own identity and spaced and I was allowed to be who I am. I don't think that really helps people. And sometimes people argue, well, what are you going to do with all the bad people? Well, I think a lot of the bad people aren't even in jail and are not going to go to jail. I'm talking about Dick Cheney. He's not in jail, yet Chelsea Manning is. So systems that are in place, got to think about that and how to perhaps dismantle them. And I recognize that might be a bit naive, but perhaps if we plant some seeds, we might not see it in our lifetime, but perhaps in the next lifetime or next generations, it might happen. So, planting some seeds. Here's another one. How many cisgender people does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many?
I don't know. They're all too busy asking me about my genitals. So if you don't know, I'm transgender. Ha ha ha. Cisgender. Ha ha ha. Explaining it if you don't know. So cisgender is the term if you identify with the gender you were assigned at birth. I personally do not believe in the gender binary. I believe it's in place to separate us and keep us afraid of one another. And I don't really like that very much at all. So that's how I experience the world. Now, breath in, breath out. That's some of the heavy stuff. We'll get to, we will revisit it, I'm sure. So I'm out in California these days, and California has a lot of issues like anywhere else. And one great thing it has going for it is that medical marijuana is accessible to people. And the great thing is that this is happening more and more all over the country. People are getting access to cannabis. And for folks who might not understand, it is a medicine and it's been around for thousands of years. And this idea that people have been sent to prison for it and have been attacked for it, and that now it's being legal and accessible for people is really wonderful. So I am very grateful to live in a place where it's accessible, and I'm excited for it to come to more places. And it'll be here soon. I mean, it's here now already. So we'll get there. So about a year ago, I went in to get my card renewed, and it's bureaucracy like anything else. You go in, you have to have the correct paperwork, or at least you've got your ID, you have to pay a certain amount of money. So in a way it is privatized because you have to have these certain documents in order to get access to it. But overall, having to go through these hoops is a lot better than nothing at all. So I went in, it was about a year ago, and the line is very long because a lot of people use it. It's pretty popular medicine. So I was waiting in line, and I find I like to talk to strangers a lot of the time, especially if I'm in a new place. Like every day can be a great experience if I talk to someone I've never met before. And who knows, the next time we'll all be together in the same space. So I was standing in line behind a guy who had this very interesting tattoo on his back. His tattoo said, "Fuck the police." That's quite a statement, and to have on your back. So I was looking at him and I said, all right, this is going to be the person I'm going to speak to. So I say, hello, and I was a little bit intimidated by him, certainly. And I was like, but I wanted to be like, well, I get where you're coming from. So I said, hey, excuse me, I think your tattoo is kind of cool. And he turned around and he said, the police don't think so. Fair enough. And it turns out the only reason he was there in line was because the police had found him. He's obviously not had a great history with them. And they tore up his recommendation. And if you don't have a recommendation, you can't go to the dispensaries to get cannabis. So it's something it seems minor. However, there are these ideas that people in positions of authority can somehow prevent us from getting what we need to get. Like it's a waste of time and energy. And it's something very minor, but it still has an impact. So, wait in line for a while, as one does, and you get up to the desk, and they say, all right, it's going to be about 2 hours, so we'll put your name in, go out, run some errands, do whatever you need to do, and then you come back. So, I do that, and while I'm away running errands, which is really just walking around the city, I start thinking about things, which I do anyway, because we all do that, we all think about things. And my particular experience now with this person he's only in line because of someone decided to take something out on him, and how frustrating that is. And also how frustrating it is that one has to wait in line to get something that they need to help them. And that one needs money and to prove their identity. And people need to live in a particular space in order to get what they need, and how frustrating that is. So I'm thinking about this, and I go back and I get to see the doctor. Now it's a pretty standard procedure, it doesn't really take too long usually. However, I really want to make the most of it. So I sit in front of the person who's filling out the prescription. He's a doctor, certainly. And at first you get paperwork, and you fill in your information, and there's a list of, symptoms or, I don't know, I don't want to say like illnesses necessarily, but just ways you might describe yourself, or things that you're symptoms? No, there's a totally better word for this. Anyway, I'll go on. So I circled anxiety and depression, because those are two things I struggle with. Although, I'm pretty sure everyone struggles with them. If you're alive and awake in this world, and you're aware of what's going on, I think it's almost impossible not to feel depressed and anxious at times. It's just natural. So, I explained this to him. I was like, okay, well I also have glaucoma. However, the main reason that cannabis helps me is depression and anxiety. And he says, okay, well do you want to talk about that a little bit? So I say, well, how long is this appointment going to last? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a day, a week? Over 30 years of being alive and aware on this planet, I've got a lot of shit to get off my chest. So, all right, you better listen. All right, you're a doctor. Okay, I'll maybe teach you something. I didn't say that. I'm not a dick. I'm trying. It doesn't work. Very polite. The first thing, something I've been struggling with for a while was at times I did not have secure housing. And that can be really troubling. When you don't have your basic needs being met, it's really hard to do anything else, because a lot of time and energy is spent trying to figure out where you're going to spend the night. Yeah, that takes up a lot of time, and folks who know how it is to move, imagine trying to do that even on a daily basis or a weekly basis. It's really exhausting. And I think about Maslow's the hierarchy of needs, the pyramid, and at the very bottom, it's getting your basic needs met. Housing, food, warmth. At the very top, it's a self-actualization. And you can't really get to self-actualization if you can't get your basic needs met. James Baldwin had an incredible quote that is, anyone who has any experience in dealing with experiencing poverty knows how incredibly expensive it is to be poor. And that's very true. It's like the lower down you get, down, I mean, using that terminology says something right there. But this idea of like, the lower, yeah, like really, the lower you get, the harder it is to kind of climb back up. And I feel like the systems are in place to keep it that way. I mean, if they weren't, then we wouldn't have homeless people everywhere. We would just give everyone homes. But the systems are in place, I think, to keep people down and keep people from reaching their potential, which would change things a lot. So I say that to him, and that's a big thing. That's kind of Number 2, well, by default, I'm an artist. It kind of sucks. I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything, but it's who I am. I can't help but want to create and inspire and just express myself and maybe create a new way of living and collaborate with others and just create something new and entertain and make people laugh and make people feel and think and just be alive. And doing that in a capitalist society is really hard because you have to kind of put a price tag on your art, which is really antithetical. I think a lot of us do it because we have to and because we need to, and it's all what we're about. And how do you put a value on that? And also, if people can't afford it, what does that say? I want to make art that's available for absolutely everyone, not just people who can afford it. They're not the ones who need it. Well, that's part of it, because even if you get paid for your art, you might need a day job or a night job or other part-time jobs. So, as far as that goes, it's kind of crucial to find meaningful work. And where are the meaningful jobs? Like jobs where you can go to sleep at the end of the day and feel like you actually helped someone and did something good instead of maybe helping someone else make money or oppressing someone. Sure, there are jobs where you can hurt someone, get paid to do that, certain positions of authority, being very broad there, but yeah, people can get paid to hurt other people, and I just can't take part in that. In whatever way, direct, indirect, I can't do that. So it's kind of hard. It's really hard. So yeah, that's stressful, finding the time and the energy, doing art, and doing what I feel like I need to do, and then also contributing to the society in a way that I can be compensated and have my needs met. So yeah, that's really stressful. And then, of course, there's other things. Number 3, I guess the last thing I'll say, happen to be transgender, and that in itself is not stressful at all. I'm totally at peace with myself, I'm secure with myself and who I am in this world. I know my friends and my heart, and I'm very secure in that. However, being transgender in the world at large and how other people respond to that, that gets stressful. Because quite often, if people don't understand you, they'll take their own energy and their own anger and confusion or whatever it is and kind of throw it back on you. And that's, and by you I mean me, and by all of us, I suppose. We all just want to travel through the world peacefully and be ourselves, yet sometimes people might not understand us or agree with our identity or somehow feel threatened. And that gets really stressful. So the doctor looks up at me and he says, "All right, yep, this sounds good, you can have cannabis." It shouldn't be that hard. I look forward to when it's more accessible, and it will be. It will be. It already is. It really already is. Part 3. Big parts. That's great. Yeah. So I worked at a bathhouse. Very interesting job. I got it for a friend of mine, and if you live in San Francisco, why not work at a bathhouse? Unfortunately, it was not as many around as it used to be. But in a way, that's a job that was helping people, and it was with community, I guess the LGBT community as a whole. Not Ls, though, unfortunately, because when the bathhouse opened, it was open to all genders, which is awesome. However, over time it shifted, and it just became open to men. And had it not been just open to men, I'd probably still be working there, because that would just be more inclusive, and I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But it was a job, and it was okay, and a lot of people have their own interpretations of what it's like, and just these ideas of maybe fear of sex or fear of nudity, even though that's kind of all how we came into this world, pretty much. But after a while, it's like a job like anything else. So I worked at the front desk, I'd check people in, give them towels. Nothing too exciting happened. People might think there would be, but at the end of the day, it's people just coming in and wanting to connect with each other. And with our generation, of course, our generation, I don't know what that means. People who are alive right now, there's an idea of communicating via phones and via technology and not really looking at each other, not looking at people in the eye, and not hugging and not using physical contact instead. We're kind of just, and I'm throwing myself into this because I totally do this as well, just touching phones and not touching each other. And we use them to connect, yet we end up also disconnecting. So to work in a place where people actually came in and looked at each other and could touch each other and meaningfully be with each other in the same space was really wonderful. At this time, to make things complicated for myself, as I like to do, because I don't like to do things the easy way, I decided I'd be celibate for a little bit and just kind of push out all distractions, and try to become more at peace with myself, figure things out, what do I need to be happy, and not necessarily rely on other people or other activities. And it's kind of hard to be celibate when you work in a bathhouse. Yeah. there was a probably my favorite room in the bathhouse was the outdoor patio where one could smoke, which was lovely. And there was also a steam room and a sauna, which was nice. So I'd use those as places where I could go meditate, because quite often in the afternoons, there really wasn't a lot of activity. There'd be a few people trickling in and out, but overall, not too busy. So sometimes I'd go in there after my shift, because you're not allowed to use the club while you're working, of course, that makes sense. After my shift, I'd go into the steam room, and it would be empty a lot of the time, which not good for the business, but good for me, being selfish. So I had a space to myself, and I would sit in the steam and just breathe and try to be at peace and focus and be calm. And that's really hard to do. Living in a city, I guess living anywhere, there's so many distractions, there's so much going on, so much to think about, so many people around. Really making the time just to be calm and centered was lovely. However, this was of course a bathhouse. And the other people coming into the steam room wouldn't necessarily know that I was meditating. So they'd kind of come in and, they'd look at me and I'd maybe be like focused. And then, some men would hit on me, and it's kind of hard to meditate when you have dicks flying in your face. And I'm totally embellishing because it never happened. Purely for the joke. But people would, certainly, touch you a little bit, and it's like, oh, wait, I'm trying to hold up boundaries. It's a great place. If you ever want to work on boundaries, work at a bathhouse. That's the lesson. Say no. Yes, you're cute. Not right now. Okay, we can figure this out. So, I was working at a bathhouse. I was also working, so we all have multiple jobs because we have to live in a society that's governed by money. For now, until we change things, which we're gonna fucking do. Because the next generation can't fucking live like this. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so while we're all, overworking ourselves, I also worked as a caregiver, which is requires a lot of energy, but it was good, and I felt good actually helping people. And I was taking care of an elderly man, and he was about 82, and he passed away. And of course, when you work with someone one-on-one, you become very, very close to them, and it's hard to let go, like anyone else in your life when they pass. There's the memories of what was, and how do you continue on this planet doing what you do without their advice and having them by your side just to support you in whatever way. And so I was pretty upset about this, but I was like, I'm going to take time to grieve, because we're all supposed to grieve, even though our culture kind of tells us not to. We're kind of told not to express emotions, not to express sadness or anger or frustration or anything that's so natural and so innate and so it's in us. Yet there's this idea of like maybe wearing a mask and trying to be reserved and pretend like everything's okay, but things aren't okay. We all know that. Things aren't okay. The world it's fucking crazy. Gotta salute the film Network with this idea, you want to scream. I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore. We need to have more of that, because I scream a lot. It helps. That's besides the point. That's besides the point. The point is, yes, grieving. So, yes, it's hard to show emotion maybe, and it's maybe this idea of fear of what others might think, but it helps. So I was working at this bathhouse, and I was grieving the loss of this person I was a caregiver for. And it's like, all right, I'm going to go into the steam room and meditate and be calm with my thoughts. And I sat down, and the steam is there, and in the towel, just trying to be centered with my thoughts and be okay. And of course I start crying because I'm sad. Humans cry, even though we may not see it a lot, but it felt good to cry. So I'm crying in the steam room, and of course the guys come in and they see me, and now they're thinking, who rejected that guy? What's going on? Is it a really bad experience here? And I was just wondering, that was my own perception of it, certainly. I was telling myself a story of what they were thinking of me. And I guess that's true all the time. We don't know what anyone else is going through. Even if we show what we're going through, we have no idea. And how important it is to talk about it. It's really important. We were joking earlier that since I was dressed up, I don't even like the idea of clothes, but that's another story. That just would be like a TED Talk, and I kind of feel that, just this idea of just expressing anger and sadness and how important it is, and then also that yeah, we don't know what anyone else is going through, and how helpful it can be just to express it. I think silence is pretty beautiful sometimes, especially living in a city. There's a lot of noise, and I don't think silence is the end. I do a radio show, and I do news, and I have to yell all the time because I get so frustrated and so sickened by what's going on. And it's not good to have silence on the radio, it's dead air. But I don't have a choice, really, because sometimes you just have to breathe. Thank you. So we're all ready to take down capitalism, yes? Yeah, so at this point, I would like to invite some improviser friends to come up on stage. Come on up. If anyone feels inspired, you're also welcome to, I mean, why the fuck not? The stage is a space for everybody. So if you feel inspired, why not? So yeah, we'll do a montage. I guess we'll do a suggestion or anything that you feel passionate about to get us inspired.
Palaces.
What was that?
Was that wrong?
He told me to touch the stove. I didn't do it by myself, I swear.
I'm happy to write your recommendation for a week. That sounds challenging.
I thought that was the best explanation I can give for the, the recommendation, but that would be awesome.
Great, yeah.
Thank you. No smiley faces on the prescription this time?
No, I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare.
That's what you said last time.
Do you want to talk about it?
I don't know if I'm ready. Okay, yeah, I'm ready. So Mom asked me why I had this piece of paper, and I don't know what to say to her anymore. I can't. Oregano doesn't work anymore. It's not gonna happen. I don't know what to say. That's exactly the face I made.
Look, marijuana is a plant. It's an herb. It's totally natural. All right? Yes. And the more we can smoke marijuana, I think the better.
I love you.
God, it's so good to see your face again.
This face?
That's the one. Little dimples.
What?
I forgot how your dimples touched.
It's on my face. Well, you've been away for so long, I didn't think you'd ever see this again.
I didn't either. I lost the picture I took of you.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I had it in my backpack, when I got to Africa.
Keep it safe in Africa.
It's really hard to keep things safe in Africa. It's a problem that they have over there.
I mean, if you knew that going in, then I would think you would take a laminate it, or like put it in a frame, and then put that frame in newspaper, put that in a bag.
Yeah, I wouldn't see your face, silly.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be safe though. I mean, I think the important thing as far as my face is that it's safe, not necessarily that it's seen. And then when you're in a safe place, not in Africa, then you can take it out and look at my face again.
Well, you know, I didn't have you there to make all my plans for me.
This is common sense. Protect my face.
I know. That's what you would always say. Protect my face.
You know, I want to take another picture and give it to you, but I just don't know. What's going to happen to it? Are you going to go to the middle of Europe, where it's also not safe?
Rally at Center Square 5 p.m. to fuck the police. Rally at Center Square to fuck the police. 5 p.m. Rally at Center Square to fuck the police.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we literally fucking them?
Oh my god, I knew this would happen.
No.
So we're not going to.
No. I made a mistake.
You have to be really careful.
I'm still on board. I'm still on board.
Wait, no, but wait a second. So, like, this is like a literal fucking?
No.
Or
Just
a figurative
fuck the
fucking?
police.
Wait a second.
Is like first base okay? No.
Excuse me.
Oh my god.
Is this the fuck the police rally?
Wait, we're figuring that out.
I'm ready! You guys, you said.
Come on, Allie. Good goodness in you. You're just a little toothy alligator.
Daddy, I don't trust this one.
He dreams about peace just as much as
Why can't we go to Disney like everybody else?
capitalism.
Oh goodness, there's no duct tape on that mouth.
Just a smile.
Oh, I think that's dirty.
That's her. I've got a bag of chitlins. Here's some pig intestine for you.
If you like it, I'll leave you Sam.
Why are those humans always trying to pass their moral judgments on us? Why can't they just let us be?
Oh, you have to control everything.
I know! You're not a good alligator or a bad alligator!
Yeah,
You're just an alligator!
Are you talking about yourself or me?
Yeah, exactly! There's so much transference going on!
Really?
Oh, I'm just gonna...
So for show and tell today, I went on vacation and I saw an alligator.
Rivera, say you have 10 more minutes.
Got a date tonight,
Oh yeah?
and I think she might see my feet.
You better nip those toenails, sir. When's the last time a fine lady saw your feet?
Too long. That's why I got these talons out.
You got a lot of imperfections on your sole. You wearing shoes that are a little too tight?
All the time.
Look, I'm your bro, right? Bro to bro.
Yeah.
If she sees these imperfections, she's gonna be out the door so fast we don't know what happened. You know, I don't know if you should even go out with her tonight. You know, like a whole tail clipping, a whole nail clipping. That's not gonna do it. It's just not gonna do it, man.
Well, I mean, things are starting to get serious, but I don't know if they're so serious that she's going to see the bottoms of my feet.
You know, it's when you don't think it's gonna happen. It's when it's probably gonna happen.
So I was thinking we could take it to the next step.
I'm only ready for a certain step right now.
Left foot or right foot?
Oh, shit. It's been so long. Right foot.
The right foot's my favorite foot.
Really?
Here's your abs.
Uh,
Do you guys know what you want for your main course?
I know what I want.
The next step.
Tuna?
Sure.
Great. Just a wild guess. I'm so good at this.
What? He wouldn't show you the bottoms of his feet?
I said it was over.
Mm-hmm. He'd be cheating.
I need to see those soles.
That's how you know. That's how you know. I don't know how the bottoms of someone's feet relates to cheating, but I just know it's dishonest. There's something bad about it.
Well, Veronica, you're always right.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I'm glad you're a dating counselor.
I'm glad I'm a dating counselor too. Next time,
Yes.
you know what you do?
Hold on, let me get my notebook.
Yeah, get out your notebook. Read this in a Cosmo last week, so you know it to be true. What you need to do is you need to see the bottoms of his feet, go on the first date. Or else, it's a deal breaker, right?
You're so wise.
Oh, time's up, that'll be $300.
So do you suffer from anxiety? I mean, I'm alive. I feel.
Irritable bowel syndrome?
I poop, yeah.
Yes. Suffer from bulimia?
I have gotten sick before and thrown up food that I've eaten. So yes.
Well, okay, so bulimia is an eating disorder, so not just like having food poisoning or something of that nature, like bulimia would mean psychologically that you would be throwing up food.
Yeah, when I throw up, it's food.
I'm trying to explain myself clearly. Every time you put food in, you feel the urge to throw up.
I mean, am I constantly sickened by what's happening around me? I mean, when I look at food, it's like I can only think of what life it lived before it waited on to my plate.
Right in the comments section, suffers from some kind of eating disorder.
Thank you for telling me the comments. It makes me feel slightly more at ease.
Well, you know, here we try to have a transparency when you go in for a psychological evaluation.
Wait, what?
Well, I mean, before we go into therapy, you know, it's a standard for us to have a psychological evaluation before we, you know, proceed.
Evaluations make me uncomfortable. I feel like I'm being tested.
Well, it's not, you're not being tested. There's no test. You don't have to take a test. It's more of an evaluation so that I can better understand you.
I wouldn't exactly call it paranoia if it's true.
I'm gonna put in the comments section suffers from probable delusion.
Can I see that? Chinese shooting star. Seriously? You doubt me?
I'm gonna put no.
Laser pointer on his head. What's
Because
going on?
you don't know what I know. I know the way the world runs. And when you know things, and when you see things, and you can just smell what's going wrong with the world, are you looking at what? What? Would duck my head? I'm tired of ducking my head.
You, sir, have, you're fine. You're okay. Everything that I, am I?
Teacher!
Yes?
Knock knock!
Who is there, Lucy?
Orange?
Orange who?
Aren't you thinking that these like divisions of like teacher, student just exist to like keep us separated?
We can talk about that after class.
Knock knock.
Who's there, Lucy?
Donut.
Donut who?
Don't you wonder that only exists to like separate us from the base reality of life as a continuum?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But
Hey, teach.
yes.
Knock, knock. Dwayne.
Wait, who?
Dwayne the tub, I'm drowning.
Hey man,
Yeah,
I'm a crocodile. I'm not an alligator.
I'm so sorry.
God.
Oh, you know, this is my internalized species phobia happening here. I apologize. Sometimes you guys all look the same to me. I'm so sorry. No, I'm trying to open a dialogue here. I'm trying to open a dialogue.
Excuse me. Is this crocodile bothering you?
Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. I read the Alligator Huffington Post. I'm
What are you doing in this part of the stuff?
Man, I was just looking for.
No, please.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
No,
whoa! No sudden moves! No sudden moves!
Put away your swamp rod. Please, I don't want this incident to happen because of me. Please.
Don't worry,
Man, I
I'll
was just
protect
trying
you.
to
No.
I'm just here, just trying to get some fish.
Seriously, what are you trying to protect me from?